Now Leslie McCormick of the Farwell Group, author of Bank on Yourself, Why Every Woman Should Plan to Be Financially Single Even If She's Not, joins us. Good morning, Leslie.
Good morning, Marilyn.
What are we speaking about today?
Last time I was on, I talked about the pros and cons of joint accounts, in particular when they're joint accounts with someone other than your spouse. And if you recall, one of the motivations of having joint accounts is for estate planning purposes, and specifically for the sake of avoiding probate. Today, I wanted to focus on probate. So let's start with what it is. Probate is a court procedure that, first of all, provides formal approval by the court that the will is the valid last will of a person who's passed away. And second of all, appoints the person who will act as executor of the estate. Basically, how I like to think of probate is as a process to make sure that your wishes as outlined in your will are fulfilled. Probate has two costs. Time. The process of estate administration is lengthy, even for a simple estate these days. And there's a dollar cost. It's $250 for the first $50,000 of an estate and 1.5% above that. Because of these two costs, many people look to avoid probate. And the risk we see sometimes is that the steps people take to avoid probate end up costing more. For instance, I have a client whose parents named her and her sister as joint owners on their home, when both sisters already owned their own houses. Long story short, the parents didn't get to fully benefit from their principal residence exemption, and their estate ended up paying capital gains taxes on that property, a much higher tax rate than probate. We've heard stories of parents naming one child joint owner for the sake of avoiding probate on the expectation that account would be shared with other siblings, only for that one child to keep it all. That account didn't go through probate. There was nothing directly forcing the parents' wishes to be fulfilled, and the ultimate result is expensive litigation and family divisions. Probate, both time and cost, can be a relatively small price to pay given some of the alternatives. It's why we highly recommend doing a proper will and estate review. Work with a knowledgeable financial professional and a will and estate lawyer. Assets will go somewhere: your family, charities, or CRA. Estate planning helps make sure more goes where you want it to go. Minimizing probate is one of the objectives of estate planning, but just as important is minimizing the potential unintended consequences of steps taken to avoid it in the first place.
Well, that sounds like sage advice. If anyone listening wants to make sure that their wishes are fulfilled and that they understand the consequences of avoiding probate and looking after a will and estate, all you have to do to get more advice is to call Leslie McCormick or Darren Farwell and the Farwell Group. The number, Leslie?
416-863-7501.
416-863-7501. You don't know what you don't know, and the best way to start is by asking questions and getting answers from the experts. The Farwell Group, 416-863-7501. Thank you, Leslie. I look forward to learning more from you next time.
Thank you, Marilyn, and enjoy your weekend.
You too.